Hi, everybody. Welcome to today. My name is Helen Oyebola, and I am the Equity, Inclusion, and Diversity Champion Chair for the Department of Lab Medicine and Mayo Collaborative Service. Today, we have with us our guest, Rowan, who is going to give us a testimonial and just share some information about his career here at Mayo. So welcome again, Rowan. Please tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Thanks for having me today. My name is Roeun Im, and I'm an education specialist in hematopathology and morphology. In my lab, we perform testing on blood, body fluids, and bone marrow, and we provide a complete blood count and morphology evaluation. So we look at the cells, we count and identify the different types of cells that are present, and then we also evaluate how the cells look, because that can be important in the interpretation process and the diagnostic process. We do a lot of work with leukemias and lymphomas in my laboratory. And as an education specialist, my duties involve training residents, fellows, students, and really trainees at all levels.
Well, thank you, Rowan. Your position sounds very, very exciting. So my first question to you is, why did you choose Mayo Clinic as your employer?
I chose Mayo Clinic because I came here as a student. I did a clinical internship here as part of my medical laboratory science training, and I really liked the environment at Mayo Clinic. I was impressed with Mayo's reputation, and I was also impressed with the knowledge that all the laboratory staff had, and being able to see things here that I knew other people could only read about in textbooks. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to be at Mayo Clinic.
So from your description of your role here, it sounds like you just do a number of different things. And so I'm very interested to know, what are some of your favorite things to do?
Like I said, in my lab, we do a lot of smear evaluation. So we look at the morphology of white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets. And then we can put all the information that we see just from the type of cells that we see, the information that we get from the complete blood count, the morphology. Certain morphology goes with certain disease states. And we do a lot of interpretation in my lab, which is something that as a tech, you don't do a ton of interpretation. So I think that's one of my favorite parts in the laboratory, is being able to look at a peripheral blood smear, putting the CBC results together with the smear information and the morphology, and coming up with an interpretation. I think that's my favorite part of the job.
Well, that's actually a really nice segue to our next question, and you might have already answered it, but I'm going to go for it here. So how does the work you do make a difference for Mayo patients?
I think the work we do is really important. We, as experts in our field, we provide a lot of information that people probably weren't able to get at their home institutions. Mm-hmm. Just having information, I think, is really important for the patients, because once you have a diagnosis or you know what's going on, that gives you answers, that gives you a path forward. So you know what steps you need to take going forward. I think that's really important. I think one of the worst things as a patient is to not know what's going on and not know how to proceed with your treatment. So I think having the expertise and the information that we provide is really important to the patients.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of patients come to Mayo because of that, because of the very specialized skill and care that is provided here. My next question to you is compared to the other jobs that you've had, how does Mayo Clinic compare?
I've only ever worked at Mayo Clinic for my entire professional career, so I don't really have a lot to compare things to. But I think the fact that I've been here for almost 18 years really says a lot about the institution. I really enjoyed where I've worked, and I've never really wanted to go anywhere else. Mayo's provided so many opportunities that I haven't really wanted to look anywhere else. So I think that speaks volumes to how I feel about the institution, is that I've never wanted to leave. I've been here. This is my first job professionally and my only job professionally, and I see myself here at Mayo Clinic my entire life. So I think that speaks volumes.
It does speak volumes, and I think it says a lot that you have that commitment and loyalty in staying here, and that you enjoy your job so much that you are not even considering any other alternative options. So where do you see your future at the Mayo Clinic?
I've worked in education for 15 years now, and I really enjoy education. I really like working with students, residents, fellows. I meet new people all the time, and that's really enjoyable to me, just kind of hearing everybody's journey. So I really want to stay in education, and just in the future, I'm sure I'll be working in some form of education in some capacity. I don't see myself really leaving the education field at all. So I'll be staying in that.
Thank you for that, Rowan. All right, this is very interesting. I'm really excited to get to know kind of more about your career here and just how, and it's really exciting to see how much you love being here and how much you enjoy working here. So what would you like to tell our audience about the Mayo Clinic?
I'd like our audience to know that Mayo is really committed to its values, and our primary value is the needs of the patient come first. And I see this every single day when I come to work. My laboratory does bone marrow biopsies, and we bend over backwards to try to make sure that we can get patients in, even if it's a last minute scheduling thing, because we know we have patients who come in from out of town, they have to travel, they're only here for a limited amount of time. So we try our hardest to try to get the patient's schedules in, get their biopsies in, just so they can get their answers that they need. Whether that means we don't get a lunch break, or we have to stay late, or we have to do cases over the weekend. We do everything we can to try to accommodate the patients because we know how important the information is.
Okay. Well, thank you for that answer, and thank you for your dedication and commitment. My last question to you here is, can you share a story that demonstrates how Mayo Clinic provides you with that sense of belonging?
I think working as a team is really important. And the people that you work with, you spend just as much time with them at work during the week as you do with your family. So being able to get along with them and being able to have a sense of, teamwork and togetherness is really important. And this is kind of a silly example, but my division has a kickball team. So we have people from all the different work units. We've come together. We've been playing for 10 years. I don't play anymore because I'm getting too old for this, but I played on the team for 10 years, and kickball was a lot of fun. It was a great way to get together with people in your work unit, people in your division, outside of work. It was a great way to build camaraderie and teamwork and just getting to know everybody. And even though Mayo didn't directly set this up, the fact that, we were in this environment together as a community here, I think really enabled us to come together as a team and do something fun together.
Well, it's a really awesome story. Thank you for sharing that.